Ever find yourself just drowning in browser tabs or staring at a huge pile of digital documents for research thinking, wow, there has to be a smarter way to sort through all this?
Oh, absolutely. It's a common feeling.
Okay, so let's unpack that because today we're digging into a tool that aims to be that exact solution. It's Google NotebookLM.
Right. Think of it like having an instant expert ready to chat.
But not an expert on everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
More like an expert specifically on your stuff, your documents.
Exactly. That's the key difference. It was initially called Project Tailwind back in 2023, came out of Google Labs.
Ah, okay.
And it's essentially an AI research and note-taking assistant. It uses Google's Gemini AI, but focuses it entirely on the content.
So you feed it your knowledge base, basically. Things like PDFs, Google Docs.
Yep. Docs, slides, even links to websites, URLs, and YouTube videos if they have transcripts available.
Okay, transcripts are key there. What
A
else?
few files now, too, which is a newer thing. And, of course, you can just paste text. Gotcha. So all that goes into a notebook, they call it.
That's right. And each notebook becomes its own little focused AI. It gets really familiar with just the stuff inside that notebook.
And then you can just ask it questions.
You can. And this is the really interesting part. The answers it gives are pulled directly from those documents you uploaded. They're grounded in your sources.
Grounded responses. Okay, that sounds important. Why is that such a big deal compared to, say, just asking a general AI chatbot?
Well, it's a huge differentiator. General AI, pulls from the vastness of the internet. NotebookLM keeps its focus incredibly tight, just on what you provided.
Which means less chance of it making stuff up.
Precisely. It boosts accuracy and relevance massively because it's tied to your specific information. Reduces those AI hallucinations.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, is this something that's going to cost a fortune?
Actually, no. There's a pretty generous free version to get started.
Oh, good. What are the limits on that?
You can have up to 50 sources in each notebook.
50 sources. Okay.
And each source can be up to 500,000 words or 200 megabytes. And you get up to 100 notebooks total per user.
That sounds like quite a bit for free, actually.
It is. And then if you need more power, more sources, bigger files, or team features, there's NotebookLM Enterprise and NotebookLM Plus.
Right. I saw NotebookLM Plus rolled out for individual Google One AI Premium subscribers pretty recently, February 2025.
That's correct. It was available for businesses a bit earlier, but yeah, now individuals with that specific subscription can get it too. Shows Google's pushing it out more widely.
Okay. So our plan today, our mission, if you will, is to really give everyone listening a solid, comprehensive look at NotebookLM.
Right. Cover the basics, how it works.
Exactly. And then look at how you might actually use it, the practical applications. We'll share some tips, talk about recent updates.
Potential downsides, risks, definitely.
Yeah, and see how it stacks up against other tools people might be. We want you to walk away understanding if this could be valuable for you.
Sounds like a plan.
And hey, speaking of value, we've got a special offer for you listening. You can get a discount on a great AI course over at rajamanickam.com. Just use the code QPT. We'll mention it again later.
Good deal.
Go.
Okay, so let's circle back to that core functionality.
Yeah.
Uploading the documents. It's not just storage, is it?
No, it sounds like it's actively doing something with.
It is. It's processing them, learning them,
Yeah.
creating that instant expert persona based only on that content. It's not just filing. It's reading and understanding the relationships within your stuff.
So the answers aren't generic AI fluff pulled from who knows where.
Exactly. They are tied, grounded directly to your provided information. That's why that grounded response feature is so vital for reliability, much less risk of confidently wrong answers.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, so beyond just Q, what are the standout features? What makes it efficient?
One of the big ones is how it automatically generates summaries and pulls out key topics.
Yeah, the source guide thing.
That's it. It presents these insights in the source guide panel. Honestly, if you're facing a big pile of reading, it's a lifesaver.
I can imagine. Instead of reading every single page first, you get a quick overview.
Yeah, the main idea is recurring themes.
Yeah.
It really speeds up getting a handle on new material. A huge time saver if you're tired of endless scrolling.
Okay, nice. And you mentioned the interfaces.
It has. It's been redesigned, much cleaner now. 3 main panels. You've got your sources on one side.
Where you manage the uploads.
Right. Then the chat panels in the middle, where you interact with the AI and see those cited responses.
Citations are good. Helps you check its.
Definitely. And the third panel is the studio. That's where you generate new things from your sources.
Like the sound of that. And it's flexible, this layout.
Very. You can resize, rearrange them to fit how you like to work, side-by-side source and chat, or maybe focus on the studio. Easy to switch tasks.
Cool. You also mentioned audio earlier, something about interactive audio.
Yes, this is a really neat upgrade to the audio overviews feature. You can generate these sort of podcast-style summaries of your sources. But now there's an experimental interactive mode. While you're listening, you can actually pause it and ask the AI a question using your voice.
Whoa, really? So like, hey, explain that part again, or what did the source say about X?
Exactly like that. You hit the button, ask your question, and it responds, drawing from the documents. Then you can resume listening. It's still beta, mind you, and works on newly generated overview.
That's pretty futuristic. Feels very conversational. I heard Spotify Wrapped did something a bit like that.
Yeah, there are parallels. That kind of interactive audio seems to be a growing trend. Makes consuming info much more engaging than just passively.
Definitely. Okay, and the studio panel, what can you create there besides audio overviews?
Well, the big ones are things like study guides generates them with a single click based on your sources.
Oh, that's huge for students.
Absolutely. But you could potentially create other things too, like FAQs, briefing documents, maybe even outlines, mind maps, timelines, all derived from the content you've uploaded.
So turning your research into practical outputs quickly.
That's the idea, streamlining that process.
And what about working with others? You mentioned NotebookLM Plus has more features there.
Yes, collaboration gets a boost with Plus. You can share chat-only versions of notebooks.
Meaning
People you share with can chat with the AI about the content, ask it questions, but they don't necessarily see the original source documents themselves. You control permissions.
Interesting. Useful for focused feedback, maybe?
Could be. Plus also offers shared team notebooks for full collaboration on projects and usage analytics for organizations tracking how it's being used.
Okay, so we have a good grasp of the features. Let's talk real world. Who's actually using this? Where does it shine?
The use cases are super broad. Students and educators are a big one.
Makes sense. Study guides, understanding complex texts.
Exactly. Summarizing research papers, using it as an AI reading buddy for tough material. For teachers, it can help draft lesson plans, create interactive assignments based on readings.
And those auto FAQs or glossaries from course materials sound handy too.
Incredibly useful. Saves a ton of time. And remember, those updates in September 2024, they specifically targeted classroom use with more source types and the audio features.
Right, and it's important Google says they don't train the main AI on user data in NotebookLM, right? Privacy is key there.
Crucial. Though users still need to be 18 plus A, have a Google account, and be in a supported region.
Got it. Okay, beyond educators, researchers, analysts.
Definitely. Synthesizing findings across multiple reports, spotting trends, comparing data.
Extracting key insights from, say, dense financial reports.
Exactly. It can really accelerate that analysis phase, helping professionals get to the core findings much faster.
What about writers or content creators?
Oh, yeah. Brainstorming, based on your research, organizing notes, generating initial outlines. It's great for that early stage.
And that audio feature, again, repurposing written work, like turning a blog post into a podcast.
Precisely. A really interesting way to reach different audiences or just consume your own research differently.
Are there any specific examples you've come across?
There was a really interesting one about a museum exhibition manager.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they use NotebookLM to help create wall texts and educational materials for an artist's exhibition. Found they could get results comparable to their usual process, but in way less time.
Wow, that's a tangible benefit.
For sure. Or think about HR departments. Instead of manually searching a massive employee handbook for one specific policy.
Just ask NotebookLM.
Bingo. Instant answer, hopefully with a link right to the relevant section.
That saves hours.
Yeah.
Okay, what about more complex fields, like medicine? That seems tricky for AI.
It is, and there are valid concerns about accuracy and AI hallucinations in high-stakes areas like healthcare.
Right, you can't afford mistakes there.
Absolutely not. But there was a fascinating study looking at using NotebookLM for lung cancer staging.
Lung cancer staging, that's incredibly complex.
Highly complex. But this study leveraged NotebookLM's RAG capability.
Retrieval augmented generation.
Exactly. The AI doesn't just guess. It actively retrieves information from the reliable sources you give it before answering. So in the study, they fed NotebookLM the official lung cancer staging guidelines as its knowledge base, its reliable external knowledge, or REK.
Okay.
Then they gave it 100 fictional patient cases described by CT scan findings and asked it to determine the cancer stage.
And how did it do compared to, say, a powerful general AI like GPT-4o?
The results were striking. NotebookLM achieved 86% accuracy in correctly staging the cancers.
86%, that's pretty high.
It is. GPT-4o, even when given the same guideline document, only got 39% right. Without the guideline, it was down to 25%.
Wow, that's a massive difference. What else?
What was also critical was that NotebookLM was 95% accurate at citing the exact location in the guideline document that supported its answer.
Ah, so you could easily check its reasoning.
Precisely. A radiologist could look at the staging, see the citation, jump right to that section in the official guideline, and verify it in seconds. Builds trust and allows for quick identification of any errors.
That seems like the key. The AI assists, but the human verifies quickly.
That's the model. The study highlighted its promise for image diagnosis support. Of course, they noted limitations, fictional data, using an English guideline instead of Japanese, and occasional issues with numerical comparison, which LLMs can struggle with. But still, very promising.
Very. Okay, so it's powerful, but how does it compare to other tools people might already use for notes or research, like Evernote?
Good question. Evernote's obviously been around longer. It's great for general note organization, web clipping, very robust.
But maybe more static?
I'd say so compared to NotebookLM. NotebookLM's strength is that dynamic AI interaction with your notes. It's less about just storing information and more about understanding and querying it. Evernote is your digital filing cabinet. NotebookLM is like the AI librarian inside the cabinet who's read everything.
Okay. What about Notion? That's super popular as an all-in-one workspace.
Notion is incredibly flexible, great for project management, databases, custom layouts, much broader in scope.
So less focused on just the document interaction part.
Right. NotebookLM is laser-focused on AI analysis of your uploaded document. Notion's AI features are more integrated into its broader workspace function. If you need deep document analysis, NotebookLM might have the edge. If you need a versatile project hub, Notion's stronger.
And Obsidian. That's big for personal knowledge management, linking ideas.
Obsidian's strengths are definitely local storage, privacy, massive customization via plugins, and that powerful knowledge graph visualization. It's about building connections yourself.
Whereas NotebookLM is more about the AI finding connections.
Kind of, yeah. NotebookLM automates summaries, generates outputs like study guides, and integrates tightly with Google Workspace. Obsidian gives you more manual control and works offline. Different philosophies.
I also saw Adobe Acrobat has some AI features.
It does. The free web reader has an AI assistant that can summarize and answer questions about a single PDF.
Ah, single document. So NotebookLM's advantage is querying across multiple sources.
Exactly. And that unique podcast-style audio output. There's also Box AI for enterprise users, letting them analyze content within Box using different LLMs. So the space is definitely heating up.
Okay, lots of options. Let's boil it down for NotebookLM. Pros and cons, what are the big wins?
Pros. Definitely the AI-driven analysis and summary is huge time saver. The interactive audio is unique and engaging. Seamless Google Workspace integration is a plus for many.
The citations are a big pro for trust.
Crucial. Also, the free tier makes it accessible. And NotebookLM Plus adds powerful features for collaboration and heavier use.
Okay, flip side. What are the cons or limitations to keep in mind?
Well, it's still evolving, so features might change. The free version has those source and size limits. It's not a fully fledged note-taking app like Evernote or Notion, so advanced formatting or customization isn't really there.
And the AI isn't perfect, right? Still need to check its...
Absolutely. Potential for inaccuracies or hallucinations always exists, so verification is key, especially for importance. The mobile experience is okay, but not as smooth as desktop yet.
Anything else?
No bulk import right now, which can be annoying if you have tons of documents to add. And the chat history doesn't stick around in the free version between sessions.
Good to know. Okay, quick break here for our listeners. If you're finding this discussion on AI tools useful and want to deepen your own AI knowledge, remember you can get a discount on the AI course at rajamanikam.com using the code QPT. That's Q-P-T.
Definitely worth checking out.
So thinking particularly about educators or really anyone trying to get the most out of NotebookLM, any specific tips for success?
Yeah, a few things. Be specific with your prompts. Vague questions get vague answers.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Always. Always review the AI output. Don't just copy-paste blindly. Use your own judgment.
Treat it as a starting point, not the final word.
Exactly. Keep your audience or purpose in mind, tailor prompts accordingly. And if you find a prompt that works really well, save it.
Good tip. Reuse effective prompts.
Yeah. Start small, maybe with just a few documents on one topic to get the hang of it. Experiment with phrasing your questions differently. Share tips with colleagues.
And basic housekeeping, keep notebooks organized.
Please do. And back up important source documents elsewhere. Maybe even keep a log of prompts that gave you great results for specific tasks.
Solid advice. What about recent updates or the future? You mentioned it's not experimental anymore.
Right, that label came off in mid-October 2024. Shows Google's confidence is growing.
And we talked about Notebook LM Plus launching more widely.
Yep, December 24 for enterprise, Feb 25 for Google One AI premium users. And that September 24 update was big, adding audio file support and the interactive audio overviews.
So it can actually transcribe audio now?
It can process audio files, yes, and pull information from them. For YouTube, though, it still needs that existing transcript or subtitles.
Got it. And the future, still evolving.
Definitely. It's an active Google Labs project, so expect more changes, refinements, maybe new features, the exact path. Hard to say for sure.
Okay, so beyond the free limits and potential AI errors, any other risks or limitations?
We touched on the lack of advanced note customization and the not quite perfect mobile experience. No bulk import, non-persistent chat history in free.
Right.
For specific fields like medicine or legal, there can be bigger challenges around data security, privacy, copyright, especially if using sensitive data that might necessitate offline or specialized enterprise solutions.
Makes sense. And availability?
Not everywhere yet. Depends on regional availability of Google accounts and the Gemini API, plus those source limits, 200 megabyte or 500K words. You also struggle with image-only PDFs or fancy embedded web content, and sometimes safety flags might block analysis of certain content.
Okay, quite a few things to be aware of. So wrapping things up, what's the elevator pitch, the key takeaway on Google NotebookLM?
I'd say it's a really potent AI tool focused on helping you deeply understand your own information. Key strengths are those grounded responses tied directly to your sources and unique features like the interactive audio summary.
So useful across education, research, writing, lots of areas.
For sure. But, temper expectations. It's still evolving. AI isn't magic. Always verify critical information. Human oversight is essential.
But it really does sound like it could be a genuine shortcut, a way to get truly informed on your specific materials, find connections maybe you'd miss, and just be more productive without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Yeah, it has that potential. And here's a final thought to leave people with. Imagine having a tool that becomes an instant, knowledgeable expert on your personal library, your research, your notes.
Okay.
How could that fundamentally change how you learn, how you approach your work, how you create things? What new possibilities does that open up for you personally?
That's a really interesting question to ponder. Definitely food for thought.
Absolutely.
All right, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. Huge thanks for walking us through all that. And one final time for our listeners, if you want to level up your AI skills, check out the course at rajamanicom.com and use that discount code QPT. That's rajamanicom.com, code